Good evening and welcome to another edition of For FSU Weather alongside Chris Bruin. I'm student meteorologist Jack Hall. Now Chris, reached a high of 94 degrees today, very hot September, and we're waiting for that fall weather. When's that going to come in?
Hey man, it's coming. Fall starts September 22nd. That's this Sunday after the football game, so get ready. But is there going to be cooler weather?
Well, yeah, Chris, a lot of people wonder how come in fall, that's when we start cooling off once we get into the latter part of September into October. And people always wonder, why is that kind of the cooling time?
Yeah, well, we got a lower sun angle in the sky. We got less amounts of daylight. As you can see, the sunsets are getting earlier every day, and the cold fronts start making their way down to the Sunshine State.
Yeah, speaking of daylight savings time, it's never too early to be prepared. November 3rd, mark your calendars. That's when we have daylight savings time. Great day. We fall back, so you get that extra hour of sleep, which is always incredibly enjoyable. And also, you're talking about how fronts start forming into our area. How come that is?
Well, that's because they get enough push to make their way down here. The high, big Bermuda high that has been sitting with us over all summer, that gives us our summer warm weather, that's going to be weakening and moving out towards the Atlantic, and that allows for those cold fronts to make it their way down here.
Well, you know, we're always waiting for those cool temperatures, but I think we're going to send you around to the wall and take us around.
Oh yeah, we're going to take a look at our local radar. As you can see the rain showers making their way on the radar map. But will they impact us here in the capital city? It doesn't look like it today. We did see some rain last night. As you can see, there were those thunderstorms. But right now, we just got some light showers across the region, and you can see that clearly here. We do get a few showers towards our west along the Apalachicola River. And as we head to our east, you can see some more sprinkles off east of Perry and towards Jacksonville. Now, your headlines today. We do have warm days. It was a warm day today, 94 degrees with heat indexes way hotter than that. But we do got cooler nights ahead, and cooler in our perspective as far maybe upper 60s, so it will be a little refreshing. Showers start and end our week, and then we do got Tropical Storm Umberto and Ingrid hitting Mexico, so we will get informed on that later on in the newscast. But overall, across the region, warm day, upper 80s as we head up towards Georgia, 90s along the Big Bend. And tonight, though, we will see temperatures about 70 degrees, so it's going to be quite warm. So, and muggy with all that moisture around. But, Jack, there's more serious issues over in Colorado where they have all that flooding. So, what's the details?
Well, we're staying relatively dry and quiet across the Big Bend region right now. We have some pop-up showers forming in the southeast Leon County. But if we make our way towards Colorado, we're still having flooding concerns in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh yeah, there were still 1,500 people missing, and they're still searching for them, and we saw about 4 people dead, so we'll keep them in our prayers, and hopefully we won't see any more bad news like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, those floods completely damaged a lot of homes in Boulder, Colorado. We have Jason and Ryan who will be coming on the desk later on this segment to talk about why the rain was so bad because of the wind speed and everything. But also some other stats to jump in there. 1,500 homes were destroyed, so a lot of concerns for the area, but you know, very sad situation. But we're going to switch it on over to Braden as he takes us around the first local.
Thank you, Jack, and it's been a pretty good day today, not flooding like in Colorado. As a matter of fact, not much precipitation at all over the last couple days. We'll take you by the numbers. A high of 93 degrees today, a little above average from our 89, a low of 72. However, check out that record, 102 back in 1927. We're not feeling it that much. However, showers are in your forecast for the next couple days. Current conditions, 92 degrees, looking at partly cloudy skies. Pretty dry out there. Dew point only sitting at 68 degrees, giving you a relative humidity of about 42%. So again, not little hot, but not that muggy. Current temperatures, 92 in Tallahassee, 91 in Monticello, a little cooler, 86 up in Thomasville, also a little cooler on the coast. You can see 88 in Carabel and 88 in Apalachicola. Heat index, though, even though it's cooling down a little bit, it is still hot out there. Check it out, feeling like 97 in Tallahassee. Out in Valdosta, looking at a heat index of 100 degrees. So even though it's not as wet out there, definitely a lot of heat still going on. Current winds, you can see coming out of the north, off of that sea breeze right here, 10 miles an hour out in Apalachicola. And you'll see on the radar where showers have started to form right along that sea breeze. Not much, only about a 30% chance of rain for the rest of your evening. So maybe a spotty shower or so, but other than that, a decent night to make outdoor plans. You can see right now, today at noon, this cold front draped north of us, scattered showers and thunderstorms out by us. As I put this into motion, it's going to move down into Tuesday and into Wednesday. It's going to pass our area, going to be a little sunnier, cooler nights, looking very cool, not cool, but a little cooler than we've seen over the last couple of days. Tonight's forecast, 71 degrees, early showers, cool and muggy, winds coming out of the east at 5 miles an hour. Again, a 20% chance of rain, so not too bad. However, tomorrow's forecast, looking at 91 degrees, isolated thunderstorms. Make sure you're carrying an umbrella, a 30% chance of rain. A nice day outside, except maybe for those spotty showers, unfortunately. However, other than that, it's going to be a pretty sunny day. 7-day forecast, looking at high 80s after that cold front moves through for the rest of the week. However, rain chances sitting at 20 and 30%. We'll go ahead and send it back to the desk, or we'll send it off to Ryan, I'm sorry, to go ahead and look at your southeast.
Sorry to disappoint. We'll have to wait on Jack and Chris for just a minute, but I'm going to take a look at the southeast here in a couple seconds if we can get these graphics to work, these stingy graphics. The problem of being a weatherman. Well, we'll skip right past the temperatures. What else is there to talk about other than the fact that it's been really hot over the past couple days, and what else is new? Well, actually, there is something new to talk about, and the dew point graphic will kind of give us a little bit of an indication. Dew points, this time of year, we see dew points in the 60s and 70s. It just means it's humid, it's moist, it's not good for the ladies' hair days. But if you look out closely, you can kind of pick out a little bit of a gradient, a difference here. 57 is your dew point in Atlanta versus 69 in Tallahassee. So if you look at that difference, that's a pretty noticeable difference for this time of year. And of course, the cause of that difference is a nice little frontal boundary situated between Tallahassee and Atlanta. So everywhere where you see dew points in the 50s, Little Rock, Tupelo, that's where it feels a little nicer outside this afternoon. Not quite as humid for us here in September. The heat index, well, those areas where we have the higher dew points is where we're going to feel the hottest. Tallahassee is one of those places, and you know it if you've been outside today. 97 degrees is what it feels like here in the capital city of Florida, as well as New Orleans. Maybe you're out checking out Bourbon Street. 97, it feels kind of warm, I would say. 99 in Shreveport, so again, these areas, it feels very hot along the immediate coastline, but to the north, we've got a little bit of relief, maybe some hints of fall with temps feeling in the 80s, a little bit of a nice reprieve there. Current winds, they kind of supplement what we've been talking about, a nice boundary situated from about Macon to Columbus to Montgomery. These areas where you see winds out of the north, very light, but a change in direction. Those areas are north of the boundary where we have the drier air in place, and areas to the south of this boundary is where we have winds, mainly out of the south with a little bit of an easterly component. Kind of breezy, so that'll be helping to cool us off just a little bit if you are in one of those breezy areas. Now, across the southeast, we don't have much in the way of an organized mechanism or feature to get a whole lot of activity as far as rain is concerned, but we do have some spotty showers across the general southeast, right along into the south of where that boundary is situated here. So southern Alabama and Georgia, the Florida Panhandle. The Florida Peninsula is where we've got most of the rain action today. We've got an upper level disturbance situated across the South Florida region. So the Keys, Miami, those areas, the beaches along the Golden Coast, not looking so golden today, kind of wet and dreary. Across the Florida Panhandle, we'll take a closer look here. We've got a few showers, not a whole lot of steering with any of these, so if you get one of these pop-up things in the afternoon, you'll see a little bit of a light sprinkle, a heavy shower at times for some of you, but the general direction is going to be drifting off towards the west as we head off through the evening hours, and that'll dissipate over time. Beach and boating looking a little rough with the winds along the coastline. Also, we could be seeing a little bit of feed from the system in the southern Gulf of Mexico, raising those waves on the off-coastal waters. Futurecast, that boundary will slip through. Tonight's forecast, areas to the north of the boundary will see the cooler temps in the 60s, more towards the 70s along the immediate coast. And tomorrow's forecast, feeling still hot in the 90s along the coast, and a little bit cooler towards the north in Atlanta, which might see some signs of fall. I don't know, Jack and Chris were wanting to talk about fall. There you go.
I like it.
You know, a big thing that comes during the summer, though, Chris, is that sea breeze effect, and we always allude to it, but we've never really explained it here on the show.
True, and it is a refresher at best. It is what brings those temperatures to more comfortable conditions in the heat of the summer. So, Jack, as far as the sea breeze goes, what is the cause?
Well, here the whole situation is when during the day a lot of heating occurs, but between water and land heats up a lot faster than the water, so you get air moving from the water to the land area, and it brings a lot of moisture in the area. And once that collides with some convective air, it starts rising and it starts bringing those thunderstorms in the area, so you'll start seeing those thunderstorms that we start getting into central Florida, and then it starts pushing towards the west coast of Florida. And that's the usual situation. We'll have some reverse situations depending on what the winds are like that day. But
True, and because of that motion, you get the high pressure over the water, the low pressure over the land, you get air moving from high to low, and there's that sea breeze. And at night, it reverses. So if you want to know, there is a land breeze, there is such a thing. So it does flip over at night.
Yeah, so we've been staying relatively quiet in the Big Bend region, but with the sea breeze. But we're going to kick it over to Daphne as she takes us around the National.
Well, thank you, Chris and Jack. And we do have a couple weather makers in the picture here. We'll start off in the Pacific Northwest here. Low pressure kind of fueling some shower motion there. Not too much in terms of rainfall, but showers are what you see in the Pacific Northwest. Now, here's the main weather maker here. Right to the south of Texas, we have tropical now depression Ingrid, which landed at 8 a.m. this morning along the east coast of Mexico here. And now here, Doppler radar kind of bringing it closer to home. We have this frontal boundary really kind of moving southward and giving us those showers along this coastline here. Not much in terms of rainfall like South Florida here. You can see Miami South Beach goers, really a lot of bulk of the moisture there for you. Now here's what I mentioned earlier, tropical depression Ingrid really giving a lot of the moisture, kind of hogging the moisture here in Texas. A lot of rainfall, a lot of lightning, thunder, not the best time to be on the roads for you. But hey, central and eastern Texas, a little bit drier for you. We're talking 1 to 2 inches here. And you can see this on the upper levels of the atmosphere. This is where here's our Doppler radar. I guess our graphics switched on us here. Not much in terms of rainfall here in the northeast, and that's because we have high pressure really dominating the area. And it's going to be dry over the next couple of days and even cooler. We're talking a few degrees cooler temperature for you here. But as for you in the northeast, you're going to get cooler, but you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. Cool and dry is in the forecast for you. So not bad complaining. We had the rain, now we're going to have the sunshine. They always say that usually comes afterwards. Okay, our Doppler radar still showing us just a couple showers here as well. But right now we're going to send it back to the desk.
To the desk, not just yet, almost. We're going to take it to another local look as soon as I show you guys that reds are generally across the region of the continental U.S. 105, the warm spot in Phoenix. But current conditions, the more important stuff at home, 91 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. That dew point sitting a little higher than usual at 69 degrees, so the mugginess is a little more there, especially from the showers and thunderstorms if you experienced them last night over campus and western portions of Tallahassee. Current temperatures, 91 across the board. Not necessarily across the board on the eastern side. The further you go west, you see cooler temperatures, 86 in Mariana, 90 in Bainbridge, and counties such as, well, and Okaloosa looking also warm as well. Current dew points, very high across the west, and we look toward the east, also high as well. The high spot, 73 degrees. Dew point is the 73-degree dew point means that it's much more muggy in Perry than it is across. And with the mugginess, we feel hotter. 97 degrees is what it feels like in Tallahassee, and 99 in Bainbridge. Bainbridge has been stubborn lately with those heat index values reaching around 100 degrees lately. So even though it's not 100 degrees, it's still very hot around Bainbridge. Local radar showing a lot of pop-up showers and thunderstorms, nothing associated with any main system, but you can see that they're starting to drift mainly off towards the west, nothing impacting our neck of the woods just yet. You can see maybe a few sprinkles here or there, but no thunderstorms, and that's a good thing for everyone who wants to be out there because those thunderstorms are going to return to the forecast. Right now you can clearly see this upper level low spinning off in the water vapor imagery. And this is going to continue to bring a lot of moisture into the southern part of the peninsula. We go into Tallahassee, where a little bit of convection, which is thunderstorms, are appearing in Tallahassee, but not much in the way of anything else across the state of Florida. You can see a cold front, this frontal boundary, this line of, I'd say, white clouds over here, and a water vapor imagery representing where that cold front is, and it's going to be impacting us in the next couple of days. And here's here's basically the cold front. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to continue for today, and as we move into tomorrow, that cold front's going to push downwards, and when it does, sunny with some cooler nights, but that rain chance might still linger there, but on the low side, which is good news for us, and hopefully it won't impact us during the game like it did last Saturday. Tonight's forecast, 71 degrees with early showers. It's going to feel another cool and muggy night with that chance of rain still in the picture. Tomorrow's forecast, 91 degrees. Carry an umbrella just in case, because that rain chance continues. 7-day forecast, what are we seeing? Trends in the upper 80s to low 90s, but it looks like it's going to cool off into the weekend with that rain chance spiking up again during the latter part of the weekend. And now we're going to take it back to the desk with some important news.
Hey, thanks, Alex. And as Jack was mentioning earlier on the desk, we were coming on to explain exactly how this Colorado flooding did occur and how they got so much moisture and so much rainfall in such a short amount of time. Ryan?
Yeah, it really is an unfortunate situation, but the cause of a lot of ingredients coming together, really a once in a several year type of thing, once in 100 year, I think I read. So it tells you how often this type of setup happens. But normally a setup that we see in the winter time, you get a defining upper level feature that sits over the Rocky Mountains. You get cold air aloft, and what that does is creates a rising motion. With rising motion, that leads to rain and of course, flooding if you get it sitting over you for a prolonged period of time. But what's interesting for the Colorado Rocky Mountains is anytime you get a setup where you have winds out of the east up against the mountains work to lift the air even more, and it just creates a situation where you have showers and thunderstorms developing
continuously, and the monsoon cycle certainly help enhance that flow in the past few days. Quite a lot of showers, and the forecast is a couple more showers into Tuesday, and then finally rescue efforts will be relieved of showers and more can be done with that perspective. However, though, we're going to go out to around Florida with Jack. Jack, there's a lot of moisture in South Florida. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, Jason, not as much as moisture as we're seeing in Colorado, but yes, a lot of moisture in the area, and the temperatures indicate that. 75 in Fort Myers, 79 in Tampa, and 81 degrees in Orlando, and that's where the bulk of our storms is, and that's why our temperatures are dropping there. But right now in Tallahassee, we're seeing at 91 degrees, Pensacola is seeing at 88, and Jacksonville is seeing at 84 degrees. So you can see where all that rain is, and if we show you the water vapor, the green moisture, as seen on this water vapor map, is an indication of a lot of moisture seen over central Florida, making its way into Broward County, into Brevard County, all across the South Florida. But if we go up into our area along the Big Bend region, we have some few green spots, but we're seeing drier in our area. Those winds are mainly coming out of the east, 13 miles per hour out of the east in Orlando, out of the northeast, 13 miles per hour in the West Palm Beach, 12 miles per hour out of the southeast in Tallahassee. And that's bringing some moisture into our region, and that's why we're seeing some pop-up showers. But the bulk of storms, like I was alluding to earlier, is lingering around central Florida, pushing its way east to west into Fort Myers, Tampa region, Pinellas County, so Clearwater, Florida, seeing some storms in their area. But if we make our way towards the Big Bend region, staying relatively quiet, some pop-up showers here and there, but relatively quiet for us here in North Florida. We're going to take a look into the futurecast. So we could see some storms pushing through our region once we put this futurecast into motion, making our way into Tuesday afternoon. We could see a bulk of storms pushing through our area around dinner time, so be wary of that in the next few days. Beach forecasts all across the state. Winds mainly out of the east, 10 to 15 miles per hour. That surf is kicking up a little bit, 2 to 3 feet. That water temperature sitting at a cool 65 degrees. That UV index will be very high though. 9 is on our index, so make sure you bring that sunscreen. If you do go outside, you don't want to get burnt. On the water, same conditions. We could see those isolated thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon, especially on the west coast of Florida. So if you do plan on taking out that boat, make sure you are cautious and have that boat plan. Tonight's forecast, though, calling for 76 in Tampa, 76 in Orlando, 71 in Jacksonville, and a cool 72 degrees for us here in Tallahassee. We have a cold front that will be pushing through our region, so we could see those temperatures dropping down into the 60s tomorrow night. Some cooler conditions making their way into the region. Tomorrow's forecast, though, another warm one. 92 degrees in Tallahassee, 88 degrees in Jacksonville, and the bulk of storms are going to be in Central Florida. 91 degrees in Orlando, 89 degrees in West Palm Beach, and 89 as well in Miami, with all chances of rain. So we can see in those showers all across the region. But we're going to switch on over to Raquel. She takes us around the tropics.
Thank you, Jack. Well, we're going to do our tropical update. We still have Tropical Storm Umberto, or rather Tropical Depression Umberto, lingering around in the Atlantic Ocean, and we do have Tropical Storm Ingrid. So we're going to get to the latter in a little bit, but here is an update on the names. We have been all through the A's and I's. We're still maybe awaiting Jerry. Jerry will be the next on our list. So we're going to take a visit to the Atlantic where we have Tropical Storm Umberto just kind of hanging in there, and it's going to be refueling, but by Saturday it will refuel and get back into its tropical storm status. Right now it's currently over 2,000 miles east of Tallahassee, so it in no way will be any threat to us. So gusts right now, 58 miles per hour, and you can see that the pressure is starting to increase slightly, but it will decrease as we head into later this week. So now, here's a nice little peek of our satellite image of Tropical Storm Umberto. See that nice little circulation, just trying to stop and refuel. Talk about a second wind for it. So as we head to our west now, we can see Tropical Storm Ingrid had made landfall 8 o'clock this morning. And with the combination of Tropical Storm Ingrid and Manuel, there has been 33 confirmed deaths. And that's including heavy flooding and landslides. So our hearts go out to them out there in Mexico. Here's a quick update for the path system of Tropical Storm Ingrid. We're going to get to our models right now. You see it's a depression right now. So it's going to continue to move inward. And it's going to hit Guerrero, Mexico later this week. So it's going to just kind of stay isolated. It's trying to make its way over the mountains, but it's continue to bring that rain system. So right now, winds are 35 miles per hour, gusts are 46 miles per hour, and the pressure is at 1,002 millibars. So now we're going to actually take a peek at our next possible system located right over Guatemala. So the National Hurricane Center has not predicted for any development within the next 48 hours, but we're still going to keep an eye on this area because there is a chance that once this cold front that is heading our way towards Florida passes through, it will gain way for this tropical system to perhaps increase and actually head towards the Panhandle. So we might see our first tropical storm for gosh knows how many years. So now I'm going to send it back to the desk with Ryan and Jason.
Hey, thanks, Raquel. We do have some more statistics about what is Tropical Storm Ingrid now. It's going to be Tropical Depression Ingrid and, of course, Tropical Storm Manuel that made an impact about a day ago. 2 tropical storms. Give me some statistics. What happened in Mexico?
That's right. Well, Mexico storms tend to be a little bit different than U.S. storms because of the topography in Mexico. So when you get a landfalling tropical system like Ingrid, like Manuel, only this time it's unfortunate because they're coming at Mexico from opposite directions, converging over the middle of the country where you conveniently have mountains.
Of course, in state of Veracruz is what it's called, is where the areas where Ingrid had its most impacts. 23,000 people had to flee their homes, over 9,000 in shelters already. In state of Guerrero on the western coast of Mexico is where Manuel impacted, and they had reported 14 deaths so far, and these are mainly from mudslides, and more mudslides are probably going to be projected as it continues to dump rain over the region.
That's right. With all that moisture sitting over the mountains, the higher topography in Mexico, we are going to see prolonged flooding conditions, which is unfortunately just going to raise these statistics as time goes on.
Unfortunate. However, though, we're going to go ahead and take on back out to the last local.
Hey, thank you very much, Jason. You know, we talk about all that rain from Mexico, but here in the local capital district, that's not what we saw. It was a blistering 93 degrees today, officially at the airport, well above average of our 89. So climatologically speaking, we should be back in the upper 80s, and maybe we'll actually see that later on this week. But for now, 90s remain in control, nowhere up near that record of 102 that we saw back in 1927. Currently at the hour, mostly cloudy skies with 91 warm degrees at our airport. Definitely that heat remains a factor even after that front that we saw over the weekend. Really, those 90s, well, they're stuck with us as we definitely see it now in the region Tallahassee. Now, dew point, one thing that did change a little with the front is it brought in a little bit of drier air. You may have actually noticed that if you walked around campus here today, that it wasn't that typical sticky, muggy July type heat. Well, it's a little drier heat, maybe a little bit, but ever so slightly, those dew points will begin to tick down with the next front that we have in our region. Now, currently in our area, 90s to near upper 80s is what we see. 91 in Tallahassee, 88 in Quincy, 90 up in Bainbridge. But if we head over to this way, 86 in Perry, 91 in Monticello, so you definitely see upper 80s to near 90, as Tallahassee actually just cooled off to 88 degrees this hour. Now, regardless of where you are on this map, you see deep layer green across. Now, dew points, whenever you see that, it's a measure of the moisture content in the air. And when these temperatures begin to creep up towards the actual air temperature, you begin to feel that muggy conditions. So 68, relatively a little drier than the 70s we saw, although probably not the driest that we're going to see, at least later this week. Now, really, this is all set up with our little boundary of the sea breeze. If you can actually see this green line on your television set, that's the sea breeze that made its way inland today, and it could be a focal point for some showers and maybe perhaps a thunderstorm. You can actually see this one firing up in southwestern Leon County. That's something that you might be able to dodge the rest of the evening with those scattered showers and thunderstorms. And we'll widen out the picture a little bit to see that's the story all across the tri-state region from Alabama to Georgia. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, so hit or miss throughout the evening. And of course, if you do get those showers, that'll cool you off quite dramatically. It's all pretty much a setup here from our stationary frontal boundary. And this little ribbon of dry air you see on the water vapor is just sagged southward out of the region, allowing for a little bit more moisture to creep in from the west. And that's what's allowing those showers and storms today rather than what we saw before. Now what you have is this dominating high pressure center. It's going to sink farther southward, and the next frontal boundary is going to drag southward across the region. Once it gets to us, though, it's kind of going to wash out and turn stationary, so that'll increase our chance of showers into perhaps the rest of the week. So definitely keep an eye to the sky. You definitely see those storms moving through to perhaps cool us down. Now, for the rest of tonight, 71 degrees, early showers. Those will clear out after sunset. We'll put that rain chance at about 20%. East wind should be in control, at least till sunset. Then they'll calm down to near calm. 91 tomorrow with isolated thunderstorms. Keep that umbrella on you just in case, because you never know when that thunder is going to roar. We'll widen it out to your 7-day forecast to see 80s creep back into the picture Thursday and Friday. In fact, rain chances overall should be ducking down, with lows actually peaking into the 60s. But let's send it back to Jason and Ryan to wrap it up.
Thanks, Pete. We do have one more last interesting story of the day. New research came out about overall there are a couple expeditions on the Pine Island Glacier. Now, the Pine Island Glacier is in Antarctica, and it's the western sheet of ice over the whole region of Antarctica. Now, what happened is that they had drilling stations over there. They were trying to take samples of overall ice caps, and they found actually that they had warm current waters under the whole overall Antarctic glacier, and it's melting at 2.4 inches a day. Now, that's well over a foot for each week and 73 feet of ice melting each year. Now, this is something that they were staggered about, and this is going to be changing up in the future of how the rate of the sea levels are going to rise. And now they're going to have more further research in the next year or two about how these warm currents under the Antarctic affect the overall glaciers. So this is a big find in the science world. Well, however, Ryan, take me with a quick forecast, though, of 7 days.
Something we want to watch over the coming years. However, the next forecast here, if we had any ice in the region, it's going to melt here for sure. Temperatures staying in the 90s. A little bit of a cool down, though, over the next couple days. We might see feeling like 90 versus 100 over the next couple days. But hey, if you've got temperatures of the heat or you enjoying the heat, send it to us at facebook.com. That's it for tonight. I'm student meteorologist Ryan Smithies.
And I'm student meteorologist Jason Ducker. Have a great night, everyone.